Hey everybody, BATJAC J.W. here. It's been a while since I've actually turned on the recorder and sat back and chatted with you folks. The channel is actually, I wish I would have been able to have more time to be able to post more on this channel, because it's actually a fun thing for me to do. It really is. It gives me the freedom to really just kind of do a lot of different stuff for you, like the last thing we did, which was tasting some sarsaparilla that I got from good old Santee. Got to taste test that stuff. Something old boot or something. So interesting stuff. But it has been a while since I've done one of these videos. 2 months ago, to be exact. Actually, I'm here on the computer looking at this stuff. Let's see what we had. The last time we did this, it was published out on June 23rd, 2018, obviously. And we had some people that had tuned in. He said, "Varen K, it sounds like you have a lot of things on the burner." And but yeah, we were talking about a lot of things that was getting involved in doing and whatnot. Really, it's just time. Hoping to have the time to do a lot of those things. Work has been pretty packed for me, so constantly always at work and taking care of those things. So Mad Murphy 61, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Those old advertisements. He says, but he said he's glad to hear we're getting back into the grip business. It's interesting about those is because it was never intended to be anything more than just something I wanted to put on my 6-gun because of the little unfortunate accident that happened with me and dropping them on the ground. As we all know that story. I've talked about it many times. Scott F, he says, glad you might bring those custom grips back to life for the public. Nice stuff going on as keep us on up the good pace. Good stuff. Yeah. So there's actually some interesting things that I've been working on right now. This is mostly for work, and I guess I'll let it be kind of leaked right here on the chat now. So I'm gonna definitely post the very first video of that particular thing on my Patreon channel, so that those of you that are actually following me there on Patreon, I guess you'll see it first. But we're gearing up for an all-new purchase and everything, so, and find it interesting and why. It'll be a first for me, kind of. But Led 8541 says, great video, BATJAC. Hey, my daughter has an editor on her iPhone. It works pretty well, and it is free. Of course, she is 14 and way smarter than me. I tried to use it and can't figure it out. It makes great videos. Have a good rest of your weekend. Big thumbs up. I appreciate that, Led. And I'm somebody that has an issue. I have trouble just sending an email, and I kid you not. That's this. A lot of this stuff is so far advanced for me. I guess I'm just stuck in that generation of rotary phones and beepers and stuff. Bob Hartman says, good chat, BATJAC. Thanks. Thank you, Bob. Jeffrey Richardson, he says, I wish I could help your channel more, but you're, I appreciate it. I mean, just being a subscriber to the channel, watching the content and sharing it and smashing the like button, it helps out the channel a lot just by simply doing that. So, it's just, I enjoy doing the YouTube thing. It really is. It's a lot of fun for me. Never really look back at when I first started doing this. Again, I really didn't expect that much of anything from it. I just happened to get lucky that a lot of you found the content I was doing and the videos I was filming interesting, and just the channel is going pretty strong with a heavy amount of subscribers building every day, and I guess I got lucky, and you guys really enjoyed the content, which is very fortunate for me to have been able to be a part of the YouTube community and be somebody that has a channel that people actually watch and enjoy the content. So if not, I mean, it's just kind of like, why would you be sitting there with a camera filming something, or a recorder like this, and sitting here at the desk talking to you guys, or talking into a recorder. And so anyhow, but that's what I like. I like this channel. I like this channel here that you're tuned into and you're listening to. It's interesting for me because it allows me to do, gives me a little bit more freedom to do more random stuff, random filming and whatnot, and talk about stuff that, and then of course I like to be able to let you guys in on some stuff that's happening on the main channel that we're going to be getting ready to do. It gives you a little bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes or whatnot, and I think it's kind of neat. So anyway, I got actually watching a movie, End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Kind of an interesting movie. It's a dark movie for Arnold, and it's kind of one of those, I guess it's a thriller, but really interesting movie. I remember seeing it when it came out. I remember it was kind of one of those, it was fairly frightening. Actually, what did I just pick up? I just went to the my favorite place out here, Bookman's. What did I pick up today at Bookman's? Went movie shopping, as I call it. Put the bag here on the ground. It's kind of neat. They still give you an old paper bag. I bought a few movies. I had to go back actually and trade in my copy of a movie because it didn't work at all. And these guys are really nice. They they gave me the refund for it. They gave me credit so I can buy some other stuff. Like I need any more movies. But I love movies. I can't get enough of movies. It's one of my favorite things. I love movie shopping. So what did I pick up? I picked up Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. And I've had this movie numerous times, but for some reason I kept either losing it or I don't know, stuff just disappears on me and I don't understand what happens. All the way back even on videotape days, VHS, I had this movie. But I guess when I was looking through my collection the other day, realized I didn't have it. I said, okay, well, I guess I better go find it. And it's a common enough movie where I felt like they might have it, and I was right, and they do. So I got it upgraded on Blu-ray, and that's to me upgraded because I'm a VHS kid. So, and then of course now they have this, what is the new thing, 4K? It's just, I don't know, it's just hard to keep up with technology. It just keeps advancing every day. Only I wish dentistry and surgery would go that way too. I guess it is. But yeah, I got it upgraded on the Blu-ray. One of my favorite movies. It's an over-the-top movie. It really is. It's got everything. Patrick Swayze definitely outdid himself in this one because it's got everything. Like I said, it's got so much action in it, and then of course, you're waiting for it to end, and you're seeing what it's going to end like, and it definitely does not disappoint. To me, it's one of Patrick Swayze's best movies. But then again, here I picked up another one. another Patrick Swayze movie, and I'm a really big fan of his. I always liked his movies, and growing up for me was just that was like I watched a ton of his movies all the time. I even watched some of the other ones that some people may not even know of. There's ones that he started to do later, after a while. There's one called like 11:15, I think it's called. I actually just ordered that on Amazon. I just bought it. I'm waiting for it to come in. I remember renting that from Blockbuster and found it very interesting. It's a very interesting movie, so I decided to get it again. There's another one called Along for the Ride that's interesting, and it's kind of one of those, don't expect a bunch of action or anything. It's just kind of one of those. I like those kind of movies where it's they're kind of heartfelt journeys and about life, and it's really, I don't know. I guess the older I get, the more I think about that kind of stuff. But interesting. Anyway, the other one I picked up today was Next of Kin, which is another one of those that he did. That's a really good movie. This one was right around the time, right before he did Roadhouse. I think he did this one in like '89, and Roadhouse was like the same time or a year later. Let's see. When did he do Roadhouse? Wow, the same time. So he did both these movies really at the same time. I don't know which one came out first or not. I'm sure you can search for that. But yeah, this is a really good movie, and it's also got one of my other favorite actors in it. It's got Bill Paxton in it, which I really like Bill Paxton. I always have, and Liam Neeson. So they're really great in this, and it's a good. I like it. It's a good action movie. So I did not have again. That's another one where I had it at some point, but then lost it or no longer have it. And then I found a gem that I do not have for the collection, and when I saw it, it was like I could not get it, especially it being one of the updated copies of it. And you can always tell, like, too, some of the DVDs out there where you can tell they were kind of one of those early release ones, and they weren't that much of a step up from the VHS. The quality wasn't that great, but this one is one of those that came out when they were definitely trying to up the quality. This is an MGM release. MGM means great movies, right? But no, I definitely scored this one. I definitely picked it up immediately. Charles Bronson in Death Wish 4, The Crackdown. Always loved the Death Wish series. I used to have them on one of those really bad quality collection packs or something like that, and it was actually probably missing some of the movie. And I know that that's the way thing is. So be careful. Like, if you ever see one of those collection packs, like where they crammed like 3 or 4 movies onto one disc, kind of a thing, where I used to have that with the Bronson films. It was Messenger of Death and Assassination, and also The Mechanic. I bought it mostly for the other 2 movies because I haven't seen them, and this is way back. But I did see, obviously, The Mechanic is one of my favorite Bronson films. But because they had to cram all those movies onto one disc, they actually it was missing some of the movie. So I was like, oh, man, that always bothers me when they do something like that. So even though it's not really important stuff that they cut out, it was still the fact that they did. But yeah, Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, definitely had to have this. It's directed by J. Lee Thompson, which I know he was doing a lot of movies with him. This was during the 80s and whatnot, and he was doing some pretty violent and action-packed movies throughout the time. Some of the ones that come to mind is like Mr. Majestic is a really good one. And again, Death Wish 3 is just like the Death Wish series is interesting because the first one was obviously it holds a high title in my opinion. And then part 2, it just kind of follows it up. Part 3 is like a party. I mean, that one is just fun. It is just fun to watch. And then now part 4 is interesting. And I kind of do remember it, and I'm actually really excited to watch this. But part 4 is really exciting because he's like playing 2 sides of the street or something, or the coin, if I remember right. And then part 5, I still have not found part 5. It's called The Face of Death, I believe. And it's one of the weaker. It's the weaker of the bunch of the franchise, but it's still, for me, it's something I gotta have. So as soon as I do find it in a decent quality, I'll probably buy it. And I think I do have part 2. But sometimes they re-release a lot of these on Blu-ray or something, and I'll have to go and get them. Another thing is I just recently bought also Cabo Blanco with Bronson. I have not seen that, never even heard of it. It had mixed reviews. I'm not going to lie. Part of the reason I did get it was because the cover of the video looked really cool. And that's just me. That's just how I've always been, even back when I would go VHS shopping and I'd see a really cool cover of the movie and I'd be like, oh man, I gotta see this. So anyway, that's how that goes. So let's see what else has been happening. Also, the other thing that's really interesting is everybody. I want to address something. My last radio show that I did for Saturday, today or whatnot, or whenever I get this posted up for you, it was going cheap, and it was talking about being more or less frugal with your stuff, purchasing things and buying things, and of course, it was a lot of messages that were like, oh, that's not being cheap, that's being frugal or whatnot, and all that, which I understand, yeah. Actually, this is the way the YouTube is and everything. You want to, ultimately, the goal here is to get your view counts up. You want everybody to watch your stuff. You want, people to click on the video. So, some people call it clickbaiting, or some people, and I don't like really. Clickbaiting is like, the best example of that is like, clickbaiting is like, you're following like somebody and you get to know them really well through their videos, and then like, say it's like, all of a sudden they post a video of, like say they're a couple, and they post a video of we're having a baby. That's the title of the video, and maybe we're gonna get a baby or something, something like that, and shows her pregnant or something. They use a thumbnail photo for it, and then you go ahead and you're like, whoa, and you click on the video, and it's not that. It's like they're getting a puppy or something like that. It's not really like, see, now that's not really, that's getting creative with your titles. And that's what I try to do with my stuff, is get creative with the titles for the radio show sometimes, just to make it appetizing in a sense. Makes you interested. Well, what does that mean? What's going on? Let's click on it. Let's find out. Then that way it helps the channel. It helps show YouTube that the channel is popular, and at least we're clicking on stuff and we're getting the view counts up. So making the titles interesting. But yeah, ultimately, like, clickbaiting is like saying one thing and then you go and you click on it. It really has nothing to do with that or anything like that, and it's just like totally, just not what you clicked on it for. It'd be like, you show a big picture of like some shark coming out of the water, and it says, been attacked, and then you watch a video and it's like nothing like that happened. It's just, oh yeah, we're going to Walmart. I guess that's clickbaiting. I don't know. For me, it's just getting creative with the titles and getting people, in gear to you know, just like, hey, interested in clicking on the video and saying, hey, what's going on? Yeah, so, and I want to continue to make the radio videos every Saturday morning, but, you know, it's kind of disappointing when, you know, they, you know, go through the amount of work you go through, and there's not very many people that watch them. So, you know, sometimes it does make me feel like discontinuing them, but then there's a lot of you that do like them, and so, you know, it's like, all right, well, I'll continue doing them for the sake of, you know, those that actually enjoy it. And I will say it, you know, the minute this whole YouTube thing, you know, the minute it's no longer fun, or the minute it takes a nasty turn where, you know, you start experiencing strange things, and that's just the way it is. I mean, it's you know, like Hickok 45. I mean, most of us know who he is. That are you know, his videos are very entertaining, very neutral, but you know, it's like people just showing up to his house, right? And that's just really wrong. But that's what happens, and it's because he's got that kind of status. He's known. Everybody, you know, that kind of knows who he is, and so, and then they just show up at his house. Like, it's like kind of like, wow, really? Like, don't, you know? And I heard it one time from it was from a rock star, actually, from a band. He said, you know, they were asking about how he felt about his fame, and he says, he goes, I don't really look at it. He's like, the only thing about fame is it doesn't change you necessarily. It changes everybody else around you. That was a good point. But, you know, it's just like, so like I said, I mean, I'm going to continue doing this because it's fun, but I got to say, like, the minute it's no longer fun anymore and it takes a weird turn, where, you know, something like, you know, somebody showing up to my door or something like that, you know, I mean, I'm gonna start reconsidering things. I will, but it is fun for me, and you know, right now I don't foresee any reason to stop right now. It's fun, and I continue doing it, and you know, there's, like I said, there's no foreseen end right now, because it's still entertaining for me to do it still too, and bring out stuff and do things, and I look back at some of my friends that have been, you know, YouTubers. You know, when I first started, there's a lot of people there. It's not an easy task to continue to do it. There's a lot of people that I know that when I first started the YouTube game, they were doing it too, and some people give it up. They really do. They realize that it's not easy to continue to publish videos on a current basis. There's a lot of channels that have disappeared, that are gone, that I have no idea where they are or what happened to them. All of a sudden, they just quit making videos. It really has been like that, or their whole channel is just gone. You're just like, wow, what happened to them? Where'd they go? So it can happen. It's not an easy thing to continue to do. Some people just disappear. So it certainly is. And it's kind of sad, because I have known a lot of these channels for a long time, and they just suddenly go away and they're gone, and without any explanation or anything like that. Do not know, you know, just out of the blue they're gone. Like, and then all their videos are gone. So, you know, it just happens. I don't know. So, you know, that it's kind of tough sometimes. You know, there's some really good channels out there that literally have disappeared. So, I remember when I first started off, there was a channel, 504 Dirt Dart, and he used to do this thing called the Friday Fix.
and he'd go around and actually round up video clips from different channels and stuff and include them into this thing. And he was pretty instrumental there in getting my channel off the ground and getting it started. And so that was. But then again, I mean, he just disappeared one day. It's just he's gone. So it just channels do disappear, and like I said, it's not easy to continue to do this. It's not easy to. You have to really want to. You have to be dedicated to doing this. So there are channels that literally just die off, and you just don't ever hear or see from them again. Now I've heard a lot of people that I know, just in general, they say, oh yeah, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and all that. I say, yeah, that's great, yeah, but it is like having a job. It is being dedicated to it. It is definitely, you have to be dedicated to doing this. You have to want to definitely film stuff and get it out there and do everything. And one of the things that I like to do, and I've always kept to doing it with all my reviews and things that I do and talk about, I wanted them to remain real, like not like all polished up in some high production. I wanted it to be about as basic and natural and down to earth as it can be, where I'm not just like dressing something up with a bunch of high editing or special effects, because I wanted my stuff to feel really raw and just like as if you were to just open that box and take a look at the thing yourself. That's the way I wanted it to feel, and give you a real, for the most part, a pretty honest and real opinion on something. And if I feel something is overpriced or not worth it, I want to be able to voice that and tell you that, yeah, I don't think this thing is worth it. I really don't. But then again, if I tell you that, for instance, like if I feel like it's overpriced or not worth it, but I'll tell you in the sense of maybe what made me want to buy it or own it or continue to own it. A lot of the, I call it modern production stuff that's still being made. You can use that term of any of the polymer guns or Glocks or for instance that Inland 1911 that I own. Stuff like that, you lose money the day you buy it, really. Maybe not so much the Inland, because if they ever stop making them, it would be. But that's kind of a specialty thing. But let's just say a Glock. The minute you buy a Glock, you've lost money on it, unless you bought it used. I mean, I'm talking brand spanking new in the store. You bought it. You're the very first person to crack the seal and chamber rounds through it and start firing it, other than the factory. And that's what you get a lot of time. Well, technically it's not really unfired because they fire it in a factory. Well, no kidding. But when you're the one cutting the seal off the box, and you're the one, it's in your hands, you're the customer, you got it, and you're the brand new owner of that firearm and everything like that. But you have lost the money on it immediately, because you won't be able to resell it really for that. So you buy it and it's like $600. You buy it, great, it's fantastic, but you really, you can't really get that $600 back out of it, because somebody's going to say, well, why would I buy your used one where I don't know how much or what kind of mileage is on it, or any kind of funky cracks or something damages that are part of it that I don't know about, when I can go buy a brand spanking new one for what you're trying to sell it for. So that's the hard part. Now, if you can, that's why I've always been that's also way back when I started buying collectible guns. Aside from them being really cool and they were part of all the movies I really enjoyed from way back, that it was like I could always get my money back for those. It was a good friend of mine said, it's like you're just parking your money. So, and which is true. So anyway, but that's kind of where that is. It's just. But as I was talking about it, let's see here, make sure we're 29 minutes into this chat, and you're probably going, if you even made it this far. I'm actually looking. I've been getting things in line where I had to get some things that I need. Which I'll say this right now, I really have not been interested in purchasing anything lately, and just had no drive to really purchase anything. And it's mainly it's a thought of. It's because seriously, right now I'm on that limbo stage of what, where am I going to really be here or be somewhere else? And when you gotta transport all your stuff again somewhere else, especially guns, it's a little difficult to do if you have too many, or it just becomes a problem. But anyway, so I've been, and there really hasn't been much drive for me to want to buy something because it's a lot of money to spend. I've done my share throughout buying and selling guns. I've done my share of damage to my own financials by buying guns. I've depleted. I just look back and just think how much money I could have had in the bank if I hadn't have bought as many as I have. Because I can't say, how many times I've went eating soup and ramen for weeks because I had to buy a gun. I may be starving and don't have something really decent to eat, but I have a gun. So I didn't want to, I just I slowed down dramatically now on that. And there was really, and honestly, there's just really, I've been learning to just kind of literally pass things by and just go, I can live without it. I don't need to have that thing. What am I really going to do with it? So, but with my current situation at work and what I need for work and working at an indoor gun range is, I feel like, well, I want something I can actually shoot and utilize the fact that I work at an indoor range. Why not shoot? I can shoot for free, so let's do it. Let's try to do hone a little bit more skills on shooting and and utilize the perks of the job. So, and plus also because we got to carry a gun at work, there's also some stuff we got to do qualifying with them. So I thought about just been having trouble qualifying. I always dread it. Because it's like, man, I hope I pass. I know it. I'm not the greatest shot in the world. So I've been thinking about what should I buy specifically for work to be my workhorse gun, in a sense, to be that one that I'm gonna shoot. And that's the thing, is like a lot of stuff I have are either old or collectibles, and I'm never intended to wear them out. I shoot them every now and then to enjoy them. That's my phone going off. To enjoy them, but I don't want to overdo it and wear them out. So, shut my phone off so it doesn't interrupt us. But so I decided, okay, well, I better start getting things geared up and ready and start saving some money. And there was things I wanted to accomplish first, which was take care of my car. Had to do some stuff and make sure it's okay. Had to recently do the ignition switch on it and repair that. Repair the ignition switch. Then I had an oil leak, so I had to do that and take care of that. And hopefully this recent thing on it had repaired it and everything. But I still have to take it back and check it one more time. And I also wanted to make sure I had a certain amount in the savings in my bank so that I can, a certain amount that I can bail myself out of a situation if need be. So that's always, so these are things I wanted to get in line. Then the next step was, to get, all the car registration and all that squared away. And then also I needed to get an updated license or an ID out here with my current physical address, because that's one of the requirements here in Arizona State that you have to have a physical, a current physical address on your ID when you want to purchase a firearm. So these were all things I needed to get done. So I got them done and got, you know, the ducks in a row, as so to speak. So now onward to stepping a little bit closer and a little bit more forward to what am I going to purchase? What am I going to buy? So with a lot of looking and researching and my thoughts on looking back on the past, I said, you know, I always shot really well with, are you ready? Yes, I've always shot a Glock really well. And I remember I sold mine to pick up that Inland 1911. Yes. So but for work purposes, when I did have it and I used it at work, I was able to shoot really well and never have an issue with, you know, not passing qualifications and stuff. So, but now since I've been having the issue and want to carry something at work and not, you know, when you carry one of your guns at work or when you carry a gun, it's going to get beat up. So, and also I thought about it, what would aid me into just give me a little bit more of an edge. And I'm not going to use that excuse where I'm trying to buy something to, you can't buy accuracy. Well, I mean, I know that I'm kind of using that a little too freely, but you got to still practice what I'm saying. You still got to practice. You still got to be good at shooting and sight alignment and grip and all that stuff. But you can buy yourself to get an edge on that. And so I decided, all right, well, I used to have a Glock 23 with a barrel to change it to a 9, and then I used to have before that I had a Glock 17. Well, for the sole purpose of all what I need, I started looking at the Glock 34. And because I didn't really, I mean, I felt like if I bought something I already had, I was like, it's not that exciting, and I want to be exciting about it, and I want it to be something different and something that, you know, I don't already have or not everybody has. So I started looking at the Glock 34, and it does. It's made for competition. It's got adjustable rear sights. It's like an over 5-inch barrel, and it's basically the same size as a 1911. So it really piqued my interest in looking at it, and it's kind of cool. And there's a couple movies that it's actually in. Denzel Washington has one in Man on Fire. So and I like that movie. It's a really cool movie. So it's like, okay, there's a little connection there. And Arnold Schwarzenegger has one in End of Days. It's not the reason I'm watching it right now, but but anyway, there was an interest to get it, and I'm curious to see how it runs, how it shoots. I've never shot one, and I can imagine it's pretty smooth. So I'm kind of curious. So that's going to be it. That's going to be the purchase I'm going to make, and you know, that it'll be the first one that I've done, our first purchase I've done for a while, and really any interest to buy something, and this is it. I mean, I've had more interest, you know, this is it. You know, I've actually looked into, as far as like neat stuff, you know, just really nothing much has piqued my interest to buy. So this one has for the sole purpose of work. And I figured, well, this could be a workhorse gun and something I could use and shoot a lot at the range, and you know, and then it's a 9mm, so it doesn't cost me too much. And out here, you can pretty much purchase 9 for some pretty fair prices. So, and I can always set up my reloading thing and get that going and load 9 for fairly cheap too. So, anyway, that's what it is. That's what I'm gonna do. So, of course, as you guys. The Patreon, it'll be the first video of it will be on Patreon. I don't have it yet. We are some time away from me getting it, but that's definitely the goal right now. We're moving closer to getting it, and that's why I've actually talked about it now and actually revealed what it is, more so about what I'm going to do and what I'm going to get. So there you go on that. So yeah. I know, it's kind of strange. I guess
I just hit that wall with buying stuff where I just kind of say, you know, I don't need it. I've got enough. I don't want to build some insane collection that I have, you know, so many of them that I don't know what to do with. And I have actually sold off a lot of it. And I've kept some of my favorites, and I'm fine with that. That's it. You know, I just don't want to accumulate a whole trunk full anymore. At one time I had a lot, but I wanted to liquidate the collection and you know, not have so many. So anyway, there you go. And it's been a fun chat with you guys. I'm gonna get out of here, and yeah, we'll see you or check you out next time. Thanks for listening, and you know, if you made it this far in the video, man, that's I thank you. That's really cool. I mean, it really shows you guys are pretty interested in chatting around and listening and, you know, being involved here. That's really cool. So, right, 34, here we go.